Savannah is a city that rarely abandons its past. Layers of time sit beneath every street, and nowhere is that contrast clearer than beside Johnson Square, where the Savannah Bank and Trust Building rises above the oldest planned space in the city. Completed in the early 1910s, the tower marked Savannah's shift toward modern commerce. Designed in a classical tripartite style, it was built like a column, a solid stone base, a tall shaft of repeating windows, and an ornate crown. For a city defined by low rooflines and open squares, its height was striking. It was meant to symbolize permanence, order, and financial security. Yet the ground beneath it had already seen centuries of change. Johnson Square dates back to the 1730s. Homes, taverns, and shops once surrounded it, and during the Revolutionary War, soldiers marched and died nearby. Fires, rebuilding, and expansion repeatedly reshaped the area long before the tower's foundation was ever dug. When construction began, workers were building into ground layered with earlier Savannah. Not long after opening, employees began reporting unusual experiences inside the building. On the 10th floor, workers occasionally saw a man standing at the far end of the hallway. He wore outdated clothing, usually described as a suit from another era. He never spoke or approached. When someone walked toward him, he calmly turned and stepped into an office, even though the room would still be locked. The description remained consistent across years. Always the same posture, always the same quiet disappearance. Other disturbances followed. Office telephones rang from empty rooms. Answering them brought only breathing or faint music buried in static. Equipment checks revealed no source. Replacing lines did not stop the calls. In the basement, where bank vaults once held fortunes, staff reported sudden pockets of cold air. Local tradition later connected the sensation to a story from the Great Depression, when a financially ruined man allegedly died inside the building. Whether literal history or evolving legend, the heaviness in the lower levels became part of its reputation. The businesses occupying the building changed over time, but the accounts did not. Workers, decades apart, described similar experiences. The building seemed less attached to a single event and more tied to routine, as if something still expected business hours to continue. Its location contributes to the feeling. The tower stands in the heart of Savannah's earliest square, surrounded by sites connected to war, burial, and early colonial life. Rather than isolated, it sits where the city's history converges. During the day, it functions like any office building. At night, it feels different. Wind moves through upper corridors, elevators echo through stone shafts, and the pale exterior reflects faint light against dark streets. Not every haunting belongs to a home. Some attach to work, to schedules kept carefully for years. Here, the reports resemble habit more than tragedy. A figure pacing, a phone waiting to be answered, a vault holding a silent weight. The Savannah Bank and Trust Building was constructed to represent stability, but in a city like this, permanence carries memory with it. As evening settles over Johnson Square and lights fade one by one, the tower remains watching the square below. Some routines, it seems, never fully end.